sales with PPC campaigns and I ended it, but now I'm not getting organic sales. So here's the thing. When you go to a PPC ad campaign, you look at the ad report, the results, it'll tell you which one of those turned into sales, but it's not 100% accurate. In other words, how do you actually know? How does Amazon know for sure that the reason I bought your product was because I clicked on your ad versus your organic? The ad may have come up as well as the organic, and it resulted in me clicking on the ad, but later I went to the organic. See what I mean? So they don't have that 100%. There's no way to know for exactly for sure. Here's the thing. When you run PPC ads, you're going to increase your organic listing purchases by default. Why? Because people are seeing it more often. And if they see something, they're more likely to buy it. Even if they didn't click on the ad and they clicked on the organic results, they still saw it another time. So, but there's not just that reason. The other side is you want to keep collecting data. I would keep running those ads indefinitely. Over time, you just drop your budget. The more optimized it is, the more convertible it is, because it's going to continually show you if someone starts using a different keyword to find your product, it's going to show you what that keyword is so you can optimize your listing and adjust it based on that. All right, Martin, when testing a few products by running PPC, do you have to find unbranded products for that test? So, great question. And let me explain the background of this question because a lot of people are not gonna know what you're talking about, but I love the question. So you guys can test a product by buying it for cheap somewhere, and you run it on Amazon, you create a PPC ad, and the PPC ad campaign is gonna give you data for finding other products. Okay, that's what he's talking about. Great question, by the way. So the question is, when you're doing the test by running PPC, do you have to find unbranded products for that test? Here's the thing, what you're technically doing is arbitrage in a sense. If you go to Walmart and you buy a branded product and Amazon allows you to sell it, that's fine, use it. In other words, some brands are gated, some are not. Like Disney, Nike, some of those are not gated unless you've been selling for a while. We're gated for a bunch of brand products that are clothing related because my wife has done so much retail arbitrage. But you have to sell for a while to do that. And so when you find the product, even online, take your Amazon seller app, the seller app, click on the little scan button, the camera, scan it, and it'll immediately tell you whether or not you can sell it. If you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. It really is that simple. And then you run with it. And keep in mind too, guys, in a sense, every product you buy at a store is branded. Like everyone has a brand. The question is it so brand recognized that Amazon has put a limitation on selling it? I get 150 clicks, says Saharja, but 0 to 1 order. Sir, what do I do? So if you're getting clicks but no orders, that means your listing is not attractive enough. So take the keyword that people searched when they clicked on your item, search it on Amazon, look at the first page of search results and ask this question: which one would I buy first? And if one of those is not yours, you need to go back to the drawing board and make it better. The problem isn't that you're not getting people seeing it, you're getting people seeing it, and that's awesome. The problem is people aren't buying it. So when they see it, it's not attractive enough to buy. We just started PPC. We started Seller NG just 2 weeks ago. Problem is ACOS is 130% anywhere around this. Your ACOS should be like 250%. Karthik Namirbar. That's really low if you just started. Now, I know it's 2 weeks ago. Give it some time. At the beginning, it should be high. All PPC ACOS should be high. If it's not, you're doing something wrong. Because remember, you're not trying to get just to make money at the beginning. You're trying to rank organically and get data, so you need to spend money in order to make money. Now, if after 4 weeks you're still at 130%, that's a problem. You need to go in, find all the keywords that people are clicking but not buying, and decide, is the keyword not relevant? If it's not relevant, make it negative. If it is relevant, man, if someone searched for this, clearly my product answers their need, then you have a different strategy. You now need to look at 2 things: your price, number 1, and your main photo, number 2. Why isn't it converting? If they're clicking on it but not buying, in other words, it has a high click-through rate but a low purchase rate, conversion rate, why aren't they buying? And usually that's because of the price, number 1, and number 2, because of the main photo. Now remember, price is a value issue, not a money issue, okay? You would spend $2,000 on a brand new car, of course, but you wouldn't spend that on a writing pen. That'd be crazy. Or maybe even a bicycle, unless you're like all into biking and you get the special souped up kind, right? So it's a relevant thing. Does the value of your product justify the price? And is the price, is it competitive compared to your other competitors? Hey Seth, I'm just shipping the test order. Do you suggest automatic PPC only or automatic and manual PPC? So if this is your launch, if it's technically like the launch of your product, then absolutely do both automatic and manual. And do manual broad to begin with. And in the broad, you should have about 100 keywords in there. You need your 5 to 7 power keywords. If you're on our team, you know what I'm talking about. And then you also need to include all the other keywords, which primarily will be keywords from the titles of your top competitors first, and then their bullet points second. Why? Because those are the words that are converting. But you still need your automatic, because your automatic's gonna find other keywords you didn't think about. So I would launch with both. How much do you suggest to set the default bid and automatic PPC campaign to show up on top? So I wouldn't ever use the automatic campaign to show up on top, Spyros, and here's why. I don't have control over what keywords Amazon's gonna try to rank me for. And some of those keywords, if it's coffee and I'm selling a coffee mug, that's a waste of my money, because what are the chances if I search coffee and your ad comes up and I click on it, maybe I'm looking for coffee coasters, but you're looking for, you are selling coffee mugs. So you just spent money by me clicking, but it didn't make you anything. You see what I mean? So automatic should be used like a hunter. It's like your scout. It's to go out and to find new products. In our membership, we teach how to use the automatic campaign to find keywords that other people are not using that customers are searching. So it gives you an advantage on the competition. So I would only use your manual campaign for that. Now, having said that, how much are you gonna bid on it? It depends. I would start with automatic and your manual campaign at the same time. I would do anywhere from 10 to 50 a day on your automatic, but set it up so it's finding new keywords. Does that make sense? And it's also gonna depend on the product category you're in. So if you're trying to rank, use your manual campaign for that and bid 30 cents to $1 higher on the most relevant keywords. And you might only wanna pick 1 or 2 if they're super expensive, like $3.50 or higher keywords. Please give a brief explanation of how to manage your PPC campaign to ensure you're spending the least amount of money for the best results. First of all, I'm going to spend lots of money. By lots, I mean $500 to $1,000 on my first launch to get the data that I want. Once I've done that, I use that data to change my listing. And this is especially true for an automatic ad campaign, millennials, guys. If your listing does not have the correct keywords, your automatic campaign will spend tons of money and make you almost nothing. It's really important that your campaign that your listing matches the data from your campaign. For example, if you are starting to find people are clicking on a certain keyword a lot for your ad, and like, oh, this is exciting, a huge, super high click-through rate, but hardly anyone's buying, it could be because your keyword is the wrong keyword. It is not relevant. Therefore, you need to go change, and the automatic campaign is getting that keyword from your title. Therefore, the title of your listing is causing you to lose money. This is one of the most common mistakes people running PPC ad campaigns will make. So what you want to do, millennials, shop, is you need to go to your title and make sure that the keywords in your title are matching, that they are relevant to what you are selling to your customer. Because it could be a super high interest keyword, but if you're getting a lot of impressions but no one's clicking, and even worse, no one's buying, that maybe it's not relevant, and therefore it's costing you money. So the keywords in your title and your bullet points have a huge impact on the profitability of your listing and how low your ACOS, your average cost of sale, is for your PPC ad campaign. Let me know if that's helpful. There's a lot more in that we teach in our course, but that's like a very general overview. Why do I keep running out of budget with my PPC advertising? It's because people are clicking on the ad. Every time someone clicks on it, that's when you have to pay. Also, I find myself spending so much on PPC. Any advice? Yes. How long have you been doing PPC? If you've been doing it for up to a month and you're still spending a lot of money and not making money, something's wrong. The first thing I would do is go look at your automatic ad campaign. Make sure that the words that are costing you money are relevant to your listing. They're probably not, and that's why you're not making money. So you need to make sure they're relevant. If someone clicks on a word and the word is coffee, but you're selling coffee bags or coffee filters, that's too broad. That's not relevant enough. That's way too short tail, and that's going to cost you money. So you have to go change your listing for two reasons. Number one, to make sure it's relevant, and number two, so that your PPC ad actually makes you money. The automatic ad campaign, all it can do, you guys, is pull from your listing and then related keywords to that based on how people search. That's all it can do. So if your listing's not optimized, it's going to cost you a ton of money. The second thing you need to do is find out which keywords are they clicking but not buying. And if you have those and those keywords are relevant, then you have a conversion issue. When they get to your listing, they're not buying. So what is your conversion rate? How do you do that? Click on reports, it's on the upper right. Download your whole ASIN report, go to the unit session percentage, and it will tell you how convertible your listing is. And if it's not at least 20% convertible, in other words, out of 100 people, at least 20 people are buying it, then you need to change your listing. How do you change your listing? Show it to a bunch of people, don't tell them which one it is, compare it to others, and ask them which one is your favorite. And you have to test it. You have to find out why people aren't buying. So hope that's helpful. PPC is a massive topic. PPC, you mentioned grouping your keywords in the back and in a certain way. Can you elaborate on that? Yes, absolutely. So what you want to do is when you first collect your keywords, typically you have 5 to 7 power keywords. And what I mean by power keywords, those are your long tail, usually long tail, super relevant, high demand keywords. And I call them power keywords because those are the ones you're going to put in your title and your bullet points. Now, when you run your ads, you're going to end up probably closer to 25 or 30 total, which includes the power keywords, because there's other keywords you want to rank for, but they're not going to end up in your title and in your bullet points. You see what I mean? So what you're going to do is you're going to take all those keywords and you're going to group them into different groups. And some of them are going to be in one group, which is going to be super relevant, and others are going to be less relevant, okay? And when you run them, you're going to run both an automatic and a manual ad campaign at the same time, because the automatic campaign is going to find you new keywords that you aren't ranking for yet, that you don't know about, and the manual one is going to use all of the keywords that you do know about that you've already studied. Now, obviously, you're going to tweak that constantly, but the goal is to start getting sales right away. Why do I want sales? So that I can start ranking. When you get sales, it's the fastest way to rank. Your goal through PPC ads, you guys, is to start ranking organically. You're going to get data to optimize the listing so you rank organically, so you don't have to spend so much time. What is the best strategy for PPC campaign after you did your initial first week campaign run and have the best keywords to run a manual campaign? Take all your long tail keywords, make sure they are broad, bid high enough on them so that you're ranking on the top of the first page of search results. If you're landing, if I type in some of your main keywords, your power keywords, the 5 to 7 best ones, and I find your ad showing up on the bottom of the first page, it's going to skew the data, because out of 100 people who type in that word, how many are actually going to see it? Very few. Therefore, you're going to get very few people clicking on it. Therefore, you're not going to get enough data to know what even to do. So spend enough money so that you're showing up at the top of the first page of search results. How do you do that? You're going to bid 30 cents to $1 higher than the highest bid on the keyword. Now, if after a couple weeks you've been bidding and you're really, that ACoS is ridiculously high and you're not making money, don't make it a negative keyword, just drop the bid around to the middle suggested bid. When you have a broad campaign and then check the keywords a week later, I would wait 10 days, and put the good converting keywords in a phrase campaign should you close the old campaign. So So a couple questions. Why would you create a second campaign? Why not just put them in the same one? See what I mean? Then you have one place where all of your manual keywords are, and you can control them. You can drop them in and adjust whether it's broad or exact or phrase match. See what I mean? So I would just keep them in one campaign. I'm gonna read your question because I have an idea. So you took your PPC ad, broad campaign, you checked the keywords a week later, you put the good keyword in a phrase match. So why are you taking the good words and putting them in a phrase match? If the keyword is a long tail, make it broad match. Because that, let me put it this way, if I am selling this, okay, or let's just say this here, right? Okay, this is like a lifeguard tool for saving people, lifeguard tool extension stick. That's a long tail keyword, lifeguard tool extension stick. If I put it in as broad match, then when that keyword comes up as, if someone searches lifeguard extension stick or lifeguard tool save lives, or, you know, I don't know what the technical term, lifeguard tool hook, those are all relevant. How are they relevant? Because it's so long tail, it's almost impossible for someone to search something that's not relevant to your listing. So you're missing out on ranking for keywords you should have. So I would put them all as broad match if they're long tail. If they're short tail, I would do exact match. Now, there is a time to do phrase match, but it's my least favorite because I sort of feel like it's an in-between thing and I like to be all or nothing. So if it's short tail, lifeguard stick, we'll just call it that, lifeguard stick. I do not want to put that broad match because someone could search lifeguard saver or lifeguard ring and it's not a stick, and now if they click on it, I'm spending money. In other words, the chance of someone searching an irrelevant keyword when it's short tail is greatly increased. But if it's long tail, broad match works. If it's short tail, do exact match. Hope that is helpful to you, Dane. I'm not ranking for my keyword by PPC. What should I do to fix rank for my keyword? So first question is, do you understand what keywords are the most important keywords? In other words, the ones that are the most relevant to your listing. The way you test that is you go to Amazon.com, do it in an incognito or private window so no history will impact it or skew the results. Type in the keyword, and if your kind of product shows up more than 80% of the time on the first page of search results, then you know it's a highly relevant keyword. Then take that keyword and make sure it is in your title. So you need to make sure your most relevant keywords are in the title and the bullet points. If they're not, your PPC campaign is doomed. You have to build your listing correctly. Once you've done that, take all your long tail keywords and make them broad match. Take your short tail keywords and make them exact match and begin to test them. And I would take a couple of your most expensive keywords that are short tail exact match, and I would bid 30 cents to $1 higher than the highest bid. It's gonna be expensive, but you wanna immediately get data. You need to spend enough money so that your actual ad is showing up at the top of the first page of search results. If you're not bidding high enough, you're not gonna show up. Now, if you're worried, well, wait a minute, I'm spending too much money, I'm not gonna make money. At the beginning, you have to spend money to get your product visible to other people. If you don't spend money, you're not gonna rank. So you have to get it up there. And if it's not showing up at the top of the first page of search results, you're not getting enough data to know what to do to optimize the listing that you have. So you've got to make sure you're spending enough to show up. So there's two things. Make sure the keywords you're trying to rank for are relevant. And number two, make sure you are spending enough money so that you actually show up at the top of the first page of search results. Those are the two first things I would do, being Austin. I hope that is helpful, my friend. How much should I average use on PPC per month? It depends on several things, Dennis. It's a really good question. It depends on your product category. If you're doing supplements, for example, you're probably gonna spend $10,000, $20,000 a month on PPC. If you're in the handmade items or scientific and industrial, you're probably gonna spend a few hundred a month on PPC. You see what I mean? So that depends on your product category. Second, make sure it doesn't go over your profit. So at the beginning, yeah, your ACoS, your advertising cost of sale on your PPC ad campaign is gonna be huge. It might be over 200%. When I launch products, yeah, it's huge. I don't care. I just wanna rank organically. But over time, as it begins to rank organically, in other words, when people type in the keyword, my listing shows up not through a sponsored ad, just organically on the first page at the top, that's when I can bring my budget down slowly. See what I mean? Now, having said that, I'm gonna give you a general percentage. Most Amazon sellers try to keep it under 20% because most Amazon sellers know your profit margins minimum should be 30%. So if your PPC ad is 20%, you're making 10% profit, and that's tiny, okay? That's small. That's not where you want to stay, but that's like minimum, okay? You want to bring it down further over time. Just wanted to find out at what point do I turn off sponsored ads or does it run indefinitely? I would highly recommend you always run them for the reason that it's going to always collect you data. And getting that data is important because it allows you to optimize your listing. What will happen is over time, you're going to find people start searching for your product using different keywords that you didn't know about before. And you might add those to your listing. Just be careful of one thing. When you update your listing, you optimize it. Only do little updates, you guys. If you change out like let's say you find, man, there's 3 keywords that are making me the most money. They're not in my title. I'm gonna put those in the title. If you do that, your listing may become non-indexed for those keywords, which means if someone searches a keyword, your listing doesn't show up at all. So if you change your listing too much, Amazon treats it like a brand new listing, which means it's not indexed, which means now you have to wait days to get it indexed again. So do little changes. I would not do more than 2 keyword changes or just 2 or 3 words on your title change or in your bullet points. Do it by little increments and make sure you test it, guys. PPC is an awesome way to test it. We did an advanced webinar on this just a few days ago on Friday with Danilo, and we went all through PPC ad campaigns and how to bid. It was awesome. For those of you guys not in the advanced group, if you're not, this is the most in-depth teaching I've ever done in my life. It is getting close to 100 slides. And one thing we said is as you test your listing, you need to change out the keywords based on the data you're getting, but do tiny changes so that you don't lose your ranking. Do you recommend to send 25 pieces first to Amazon while you check PPC listing while the complete order to Amazon? Absolutely, 100%, and that is, guys, that is brilliant advice. Yes, yes, and yes. This is a way of testing products. This is one of the methods we're teaching when we go to Yiwu, China. Helps so much, you guys.